The Kenpo Karate for Kids Brown Stripe starts to introduce some more advanced ideas. This is technique number 7 in that series, and it's for a bear hug, just like in our green stripe. The last technique was technique number 7, and it introduced the idea of a bear hug as an attack. So we're going to come back to that idea, and then we're going to show another variation of the bear hug. This is actually the first technique that shows up in our advanced form 1. So the sequence of the form doesn't match the sequence of the 1 steps as we're training them. Those are intended to be practiced with a different sequence. That way the kids are kind of encouraged to know the 1 steps as a unit in and of themselves, and not just trust that practicing the form, while it's great review for those 1 steps, we want them to know the 1 steps also as its own thing, because we're going to look, when it comes to test time, we look at both. So this is number 8. This is a bear hug again. In our green stripe, when we introduced the bear hug, we did a bear hug from the front and arms were free. There's 4 ways to do this attack. We're going to see another one of those options with this technique, and that's a bear hug from behind with your arms pinned. Right? So we had from the front, arms free. Now we have from the back, arms pinned. So we can also do from the back, arms free, and we can also do from the front, arms pinned. Now we're not going to use all those options in the kids program. They won't see the front arms pinned, but that is covered in the course of our Kenpo Karate for Christ with the adult stuff as well. So they will see all those options covered thoroughly in that regard. But we're introducing this bear hug right now for the rear bear hug, arms pinned. So this one's called sinking elbow, technique number 7. And it's going to start if they're grabbing you from behind. What we want to do first is, if they've got both hands locked in, just like when we looked at busted ears, there's the danger of them lifting you off the ground. In fact, they will lift you off the ground in busted ears, whether they get you up or not as you start the technique, but that's what they're trying to do. In this case, when they go to grab and they try to lift, we want to make ourselves heavy. So we're going to step over, sink down, and we want to pin their hand when we do that. Reach up and grab, step over, sink your weight down so that they can't lift you up right away. We want to stay grounded this time on the ground and don't get lifted up off the ground. We want to pin the arms, because if you step over and you try to sag your weight, sinking down, while they're lifting up, the arms could slide up around your throat, and then you're dealing with a rear choke, which is a whole lot worse of an option than a rear bear hug. We'd rather keep them holding us in a bear hug than change that into a choke. That puts us in an even more dangerous situation. It's going to be harder to get out of, and you have to move a lot quicker. So to keep ourselves safe, or in that less dangerous hold, hand comes up and pins, and we step over here. Of course, from the salutation in advanced form 1, you'll already be in that position, so you just grab the hands that you've already done the step. But for the sake of the technique, we have to introduce that idea. You pin, step over, sinking your weight down. We're going to drive, reach forward, and drive this elbow straight back, right? So you're sinking down, driving the elbow back, and that's where it gets its name, sinking elbow, right? Pin, step over, drop down, elbow back into the abdominal area here, hit them in the gut with your elbow, poke them real hard, boom, and that's a good strong chambering action, right? So it's easy to do, it's easy to do powerfully. So we elbow straight back into them, then we're going to turn the hand, right, to use the hammer fist and go straight down. And if you hit center mass and you go straight down, then we're going to be able to hit the groin there, right? So elbow, turn, boom, that's going between the legs. And that's not excessive if we're dealing with somebody who's strong enough to lift a child off the ground from a bear hug position. They're in enough danger then that I think it merits a strike to the groin. So that's sinking elbow in parts. We pin, step over, headbutt comes back to the back, right? That's important too. So let the head snap back, and we're using the back of the skull. It's really one of the hardest parts of the head, and that's hitting back into the chin or into the face. Here, boom, and then reach forward, elbow back, hammer fist down. That's the whole thing with sinking elbow. Arms pin the arms so they can't choke you, or it doesn't turn into a choke. As you step over, sink your weight down, headbutt comes back at the same time, elbow back, hammer fist down. Right? Sinking elbow, all parts together, boom, down. It's that fast. One more time. Pin, step over, headbutt back, elbow back, hammer fist down. And that's technique number 7 for the brown stripe, and it's sinking elbow for a rear bear hug with your arms pinned.